Less than 1 month ago, our next guest said right here on the show to sell shares of J.C. Penney. Since his call in mid-September, the stock has plummeted 20%. He also told us earlier this year to sell silver. Prices have been declining, today settling around $17. So where should investors go from here? What's his next big call? Joining me now, J.C. Parets, Eagle Bay Capital founder and president with an eagle eye, I would say. Do either of these now look attractive in any way, shape, or form? I mean, I look at silver, 17. Why not buy it here? It looks cheap.
Well, it depends on what your time horizon is. If you're a short-term trader, I think that we are going to get a bounce now. I think we can see, you said it was a 17 and change. I think we can see probably 18 and a half, and then before it rolls over. Because remember, the reason we hated silver so much was because it kept bumping up against that support, 1880-ish, 1870. Eventually, that's going to give way, and it did. Now, any rally attempt that we get is going to run into that overhead supply. So although I do think short term we're going to keep bouncing here, I think you fade that bounce.
Okay, you're saying it may go below 15.
Ultimately, sure.
Doesn't every product have silver in it when you're talking about electronics? At what point will you say now buy with both hands?
I've been hearing that same argument since it was at $50, and you could have made that same argument then, and we're in a bear market. I mean, you listen to, you know, the gold bugs and the precious metal bulls, and they've been saying the exact same thing for 3-4 years. The trend's down.
Now to J.C. Penney. How did you know to say sell then? Because there were some believers starting to come back into that market.
Sure, which is to be expected, because remember, I came on the show, said it was going to go up 30%, it did. Consolidated, said it was going to go up another 30%, it did. So that's when, you know, when momentum starts picking up, that's when sentiment starts to change. So what we saw was a nice bullish consolidation after all that, and it looked great. And these bullish consolidations that should resolve themselves to the upside, when they don't, which is what happened in J.C. Penney last time I was on the show, the market is speaking. And if we don't listen, I don't know why we're even watching it.
It is a voting machine. So what's it voting on next? What is your next big call, J.C.?
Well, I don't like J.C. Penney. It could go higher, it could go lower. I have no idea.
Okay,
so it's just not for me.
Okay.
Not for me. Precious metals, I think they're all going lower. I think in the short term, this bounce is going to continue. I think gold is going to continue to bounce. We could see 1250, 1280 in gold. Silver, we could see 18 and a half, something like that potentially. But the catalyst for that is the dollar sentiment. One of the biggest reasons we've hated precious metals was because everybody hated the dollar, and as the dollar's been rallying, that's bad for metals. We're actually now seeing extreme bullish sentiment in the dollar, and you know, we've been backing off the dollar for the last couple of weeks.
Just because the dollar has started to look very bullish. Here's the U.S. dollar index chart hitting a one-year high just within days.
Yeah, so we liked the dollar in May when everybody hated it. Now that everybody loves it, you can have it. I think it's going lower.
Okay, well, what do you love now?
I love to sell strength in metals.
Okay, that is your message. So what about palladium and platinum?
Right, so platinum you can group in with gold and silver. You're probably going to get this bounce that you could then fade. If you're going to be in any metal, I would say it's palladium, you know, because it's the strongest one.
Industry component?
I couldn't speak on that behalf, but I'll tell you price-wise, it's without a shadow of a doubt the strongest of all of them from a secular perspective. It bounced beautifully Sunday night. I mean, what a move that was. So I think that move continues. If you have to be in anyone, that's probably my favorite. But I think in general for metals, I think you fade the strength that we're about to see.
You've got to love a guy who watches palladium prices on a Sunday night. It's fabulous. J.C., great to see you. Thank you so much. Calling it right on J.C. Penney, on silver, and so much more. David?